MSI have sponsored this video so that I can give you an early first look at 3 of their upcoming Intel 12th gen laptops. I've got the new Stealth GS77 and Stealth 15M gaming laptops, as well as the Creator Z17. Let's start out with the GS77, as it's a fresh design, basically the newer version of the GS76. The GS77 has the latest specs, including up to Intel Core i9 processor, but the i7-12700H I've got in mind still has 14 cores and 20 threads. So plenty of multi-threaded processing power. New CPU also means DDR5 4800 memory, and of course fast PCIe Gen 4 storage too. We've got 5 different options when it comes to graphics, ranging between NVIDIA RTX 3060 and RTX 3080 Ti, all with a 105 watt maximum power limit, as the GS77 is a thinner design at around 2 cm thick. There are 3 different screen resolution options: 1080p, 1440p, and 4K. Personally, at 17 inches, I start noticing the pixels at 1080p, so I'd be going for the 1440p option as a nice sweet spot. Plus the refresh rate there is still very high anyway. The GS77 has a metal lid, interior, and bottom panel which are all matte black. From my use so far, the keyboard is nice to type on, and I definitely prefer the larger touchpad compared to the narrow one on the GS76. There's also a fingerprint scanner just below the arrow keys, again something not available on the 76, and the camera also moves up to 1080p from 720p. Like the GS76 though, we're still getting front-facing speakers towards the front. MSI notes that the new GS77 has a more durable zinc alloy hinge. It feels nice and smooth, and my first impressions are that it seems sturdy enough considering the 2 hinges are closer to the center. The left side has an air exhaust vent, 2 USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type A ports, a 3.5mm audio combo jack, and a camera disconnect switch for privacy. The right has an SD card slot and 2 Type C ports, the first of which is also USB 3.2 Gen 2, while the second is Thunderbolt 4. Both Type-C ports offer DisplayPort output, and the Thunderbolt one can also be used to charge the laptop. Unlike the previous GS76, the new GS77 moves some of the ports to the back to keep thicker cables out of the way. From left to right, we've got the power input, HDMI output, and 2.5 gigabit Ethernet. The bottom panel has plenty of holes for air intake. Almost half of the back is just all mesh. Inside, we've got a large 99.9 watt-hour battery down the front, Wi-Fi 6E card just above on the left, 2 NVMe PCIe Gen 4 M.2 SSD slots on the right, and the 2 DDR5 memory slots in the middle. The highest spec GS77 with i9 processor has MSI's new phase change liquid metal pad. This is interesting because unlike other liquid metal options, it's solid at room temperature. Once the CPU temperature rises above 58 degrees Celsius, it becomes a liquid to fill the gaps between processor and cooling solution. Kind of like how an ice cube melts, except in this case it turns back into an ice cube once it cools down. MSI says doing it this way means no leaking or maintenance needed. Plus it's easier to remove compared to regular liquid metal. So this should mean better thermals and by extension better performance. I'm very interested to test this out in the upcoming full review once I get the production sample of the GS77. So make sure you're subscribed for that one. Next up, let's discuss the new Stealth 15M, another laptop from the Stealth series, but unlike the GS, it's a bit more budget friendly, and it's even thinner at just 1.7 cm thick. Last year, the Stealth 15M was limited by what Intel had at the time for thinner gaming laptops, which was a quad-core processor. But now with the new 12th gen Alder Lake parts, the new Intel Core i7-1260P in my unit has 12 cores and 16 threads. So more CPU performance in a smaller space. Combined with up to NVIDIA RTX 3060 graphics and a 15.6-inch 1080p 144Hz screen, I'm expecting it to do well in gaming for its size. The Stealth 15M also has a matte black metal lid and interior. Again, quite a few holes for air intake on the bottom panel. Inside, we've got a 52 watt-hour battery down the front, an NVMe PCIe Gen 4 SSD to the left of that, and Wi-Fi 6 card above, while the 2 DDR4 3200 memory sticks are on the other side of the board. For ports, the left has the power input, a USB 3.2 Gen 1 Type A port, and a 3.5mm audio combo jack, while the right has another Type A port, 2 USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type C ports, one of which supports DisplayPort and HDMI. If you're after a combination of performance and portability, then the Stealth 15M is one you're going to want to keep an eye out for once we get them in for review. The next laptop I've got is MSI's new Creator Z17, and so far I'm quite impressed with it. Unlike the previously covered gaming models, this one has a 16:10 QHD+ touchscreen with pen support, so great for creators like me. However, it still has a 165Hz refresh rate, so combined with up to NVIDIA RTX 3080 Ti graphics, it should be fully capable for both content creator workloads as well as gaming on the side. Best of both worlds. I really like that there's pretty much no bottom chin. You just get this big glossy display to look at. It's the first thing I noticed. It's also great that, like the GS77 earlier, the camera is 1080p. A number of other brands are still using 720p even in higher end laptops. The CNC milled aluminum chassis has some solid MacBook vibes. It's definitely got a premium feel to it and feels way nicer than any other creator laptop from MSI that I've used, despite this being an early engineering sample. I found the keyboard nice to type with, the large touchpad feels smooth, and there's a fingerprint scanner to the right of it just below the arrow keys. On the left, the Z17 has the power input, an air exhaust, 2 Thunderbolt 4 Type-C ports, and a 3.5mm audio combo jack. Both Type-C ports have DisplayPort support, while the one closer to the back can be used to charge the laptop. The right has an SD card slot, a USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type-A port, a HDMI output, and there's an air exhaust on this side too. MSI's Z17 actually ends up both smaller and lighter than the last gen Gigabyte Aero 17 that I normally use for content creation on the go. And while the Aero will also be updated to Intel 12th gen this year too, for some reason they're removing most of the ports to a dongle if you need more than Type-C. But you still don't even get an SD card slot in a creator laptop. Now, this is a video sponsored by MSI, but they haven't asked me to say any of this. This is all just my own personal thoughts and opinions. Honestly, based on the port situation alone, I'd be going for the Z17 rather than the new Aero 17. But that's just me, and I know what I need in my laptop. I don't think I've seen this in any other laptops from MSI yet, but the back slightly rises up when the lid is open, which should help air get in underneath for cooling, while also giving an ever so slightly better angle for typing. The bottom panel has plenty of air vents towards the back above the 3 intake fans. Inside, we've got a 90Wh battery down the front, access to one of the 2 NVMe PCIe Gen 4 M.2 SSDs, and the Wi-Fi 6E card on the right. The other M.2 storage slot and 2 DDR5 4800 memory sticks are on the other side of the board. Unfortunately, I can't share performance benchmarks just yet, as these are engineering samples and they can't be tested. So definitely make sure that you're subscribed for all of my upcoming full reviews where I'll go into more detail. For now, you can check out the rest of the updates coming to MSI's gaming laptops this year in the rest of my CES 2022 coverage.
No matter if you are content creators, VR users, or creating your own metaverse, you will enjoy the high performance, low latency experience. Maybe one day we can reach out and observe the evolutionary relationship between humanity and the universe. This is MSI's romantic view of the metaverse. MSI Gameverse.